to show you how to configure Inter-VLAN routing on FortiGate Firewall. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to configure Inter-VLAN routing on FortiGate Firewall. This topology I have tried to simulate using a small retail company partitioned in three departments, in that they have sales department on VLAN 10, then warehouse department on VLAN 20 under this subnet, then the administration block operating on VLAN 30. So generally the three departments forms the entire retail company local area network. Then the firewall is the one connecting all the departments to the internet. As you can see, it's well cabled, you can see. So this is one of the most scenarios implemented on enterprise real network environment. So to bring about security, easier management, and resource optimization. So step by step, I'm going to create VLANs. As you can see, VLANs is just a separate small network. Communication happen or occur effectively in a VLAN, but does not occur with a different VLAN. Not unless there is a layer 3 device, that is a layer 3 switch or a router. So in this case, I'm using FortiGate Firewall as my layer 3 switch or a router. So I'll create VLANs on this switch. As you can see, I'll create VLANs, then assign ports to respective VLANs, then configure trunk port. This port is the trunk port. Trunk port is just a port that allows traffic from multiple VLANs to pass through. So all the traffic that will go to the firewall will pass through this particular trunk port. That is one. Two, I'm going to configure Inter-VLAN routing on this FortiGate firewall, in that computers connected on this VLAN, and this VLAN, warehouse VLAN, sales VLAN, and administration VLAN will receive IP address automatic. This is to eliminate manual errors caused by human interventions. Then I need to ensure that all nodes here connect to the internet. So in that regard, I'm going to create firewall policies to allow this traffic to flow from one VLAN to the other, and also to allow the communication to happen between a particular VLAN to the internet. So let me start step 1. I'm going to assign the IP addresses. Then step 2, I'll create VLAN and assign interface. I will start with the firewall. Here is the firewall, and let me just make something clear for you. Port 3 is the management port. As you can see, I have hidden it. Then port 1 is the port facing the internet, and then port 2 is the LAN port. Port 1 is going to get IP address automatic, that is through the DHCP. Then port 3 the same, but port 2 I'm going to start I'm going to just bring the port up, but I'm not going to assign any IP on this. Reason being, this is my main interface, that onto which I'm going to create sub interfaces to route traffic among these three VLANs. So we create the admin account. After creating admin account, this is very important, because without the admin account we cannot do anything. Config system interface. edit port 1, set alias 1 port, then set mode DHCP, then set allow HTTPS ping, then set raw. These are the things you should understand. A port must be configured in that the alias helps that port to be identified correctly, the mode onto which that port is functioning, whether static or DHCP, then the services allowed on that port. For example, HTTP, it means that we can use that port to browse and this one to ping. Then the role of that port, is it a WAN port or a LAN port? So that is it. Edit port 2, set alias LAN port, then set raw LAN, then set mode. Even I'm not going to set the mode. Set allow access ping, then telnet. That's okay. Then next, edit port 3, set mode DHCP, then set allow HTTP, HTTPS, FGM. These are just services that enable that port to access the firewall in the browser. Telnet, SSH, then ping. Then set alias MNG management. So once we do that, we configure the host name. The role of the host name is just to identify the device on the network, so that in case of an issue, we know which device is having the issue. I'm going to give it the channel name, that is Netlabs Hub. So I'm done. We can verify the IP addresses received at the moment. You can see this one is the management IP, then this one is the IP address automatically assigned on the interface that is facing the internet. So at this particular moment, I can ping Google. In FortiGate, we don't do that. We use execute ping. Then you see, I'm able to ping Google. That is step 1. Step 2. Step 2, I'm going to create VLANs on this switch, then assign switch ports, then configure the trunk port. Then I finish up by creating the, let me start with the VLAN 10. Config. We can set host name. This is Netlabs hub _ switch 1. No problem. Once we do that, we start configuring VLAN 10. The name of this VLAN is sales. Then we can say exit. Then VLAN 20. The name of that VLAN is warehouse. Then VLAN that you can just continue that way without exiting that particular mode. Still it will work. Name, administration. So once we do that, exit, then we start assigning interface range. I use the word range because I'm going to bundle more than one interface. So from here, you see this interface, Ethernet 0/123. So Ethernet 0, 1 to 3. Switch port, we specify the mode through which this particular switch port is gonna function. So it is the access. then switch port access VLAN 10. The same we do it on. So we check this one is E10, so range Ethernet 10 up to 3, switch port mod access, then switch port access VLAN 20. So this one, switch port mod access, this one specified the mode through which the switch port will work. Then this one, it takes that particular port to be assigned on a specific VLAN. So once we do that, there is a shortcut that we can use to do the same. This is E21, E20. So can exit interface range Ethernet 20 up to 3. Then without typing switch port mod access, then switch port access VLAN, particular VLAN, you can just type switch port access VLAN 30. So once you do that, you can write memory or copy running startup. So I'm copying my candidate file, the current configuration file, it is called running config, into my non-volatile file, so that this file is permanent. Even though the device is restarted, it cannot be lost. So I'm copying my current configuration into the startup. So once we do that, we can say show VLAN brief. So as you can see, I have VLAN 10 here, cells assigned this particular ports Ethernet 01 up to 3. Then warehouse, you can see the ports that are under warehouse. Then the same administration. These are the special VLANs. You can learn about it. Then the VLAN number 1, this is a native VLAN. All ports by default on Cisco switches are on VLAN 1. So once we do that, I move to configure the trunk port. The trunk port is this port, Ethernet 0/0. So interface, Ethernet 0/0, switch port mod trunk. Now I want to teach you something here. When I type switch port mod trunk, it will fail. Reason being, Cisco switches by default, they are in auto negotiation mode, whereby we have to specify whether it is going to use ISL or .1.802.1q. So you see, so switch port. So you do this by using, so after specifying the mode, then switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20, 30. The reason it has accepted, I think it retained the configuration that I did last, but once, if at all it would have refused, I could have used switch port trunk encapsulation dot. You see, you specify the protocol that is going to help us to initiate Inter-VLAN routing. So that is the command that you should not miss. Description, we describe our interface, main trunk port. So once we are done, then we save. So we are good to go. I have created VLANs, assigned switch ports, then configure the trunk port. This is the trunk port. Then I'm moving on there. Already these two interfaces I had already configured, plus the management interface. So at this point, these computers cannot receive IP address automatic, because my firewall here, which is the central engine here, it is down. I haven't configured anything on the firewall as addresses is related to this VLAN. So the next thing, I'm going to create the sub interface. So I'm going to divide this main interface to create virtual interface on this main interface, so that when this department communicates with this one, traffic has to go to the switch through that particular sub interface. So from there, then I'll create the rules, then I test my network. So at this point, let me access my firewall in the browser. But before that, remember, the address was 192.168.10.58. You see, I have accessed my firewall in the browser. Many people have this kind of configuration, using the browser to configure. But as a network engineer, as time goes by, you need to master the CLI, or you need to know them both. It is of a greater advantage. So once you access the firewall, the first thing you should do is to extend the idle time, so that the system do not keep the system does not keep you or log you off every time. So you extend that time to the maximum. Once you do this, you come to the interfaces. So on the interface, this is my main interface. This is the management, and then this is the port that is facing the internet. You see, it received this IP. So on this, you'll just click here on create new. On interfaces, go on the interfaces, then under interfaces, select an interface, then create new. On this, I'm going to say my interface is called sales, then VLAN 10. You see, the type of interface is VLAN already. There are multiple interfaces that you can create. So then interface here, it means that this sub interface is related to which interface? It is related to the LAN port. This interface here, it is related to that. So once done, then you give the VLAN ID. This is the ID that the trunk port will use to route traffic. Here, you configure the first IP address from the subnet of that particular VLAN. So in my case, it will be 192.168.11.0. When it comes to warehouse, it will be 192.168.12.0/24. Same applies to this one, but it will be 192.168.13.0/24. That's what you should do. So that first IP address will be used as the gateway to help the VLAN traffic. So that way, once you do that, you enable this particular service. At least they will help you to verify connectivity. Then once you do that, we can give it 80, so that my IP address will start from this particular point. So we can specify the DNS. We can specify the DNS 88, that is for the Google, then 1.1.1, that is for Cloudflare. Once you do this, you click OK. You notice that the moment I do that, there is a plus sign added under the LAN port. It means something has been added, you see. So I'm going to create these 3 of it, starting from this. So the next one, I'll create it faster. Warehouse, then VLAN 20, then the interface is this, then the ID is that, then the IP address 192.168.12.1/24. Once you do that, you allow that one. The 3, you enable the DHCP server, then you give it 8 also. You specify the DNS because I have specified. We are done. Administration. VLAN 30. We link it to main port, that is port 213. Once we do that, we accept that way. Give it 80, then we specify the DNS. If you don't specify, the DNS that will be used are for the FortiGate from Fortinet. So you can see here now, these are the sub virtual interface or virtual interfaces that will help to route traffic. You can see here. So that in that when this computer tries to communicate with this, the traffic will flow from this particular computer to the sub virtual interface related to this department, then to that particular virtual interface related to the destination computer. So once we are done that, the next thing now, I'm going to create a static route. So I can create a static route on the CLI here or in the browser, nothing big. Config system, config router, static, you can see, edit 1, then set can see these are the things that you should get to understand. You see, destination, then gateway. Set destination. So you see class, then IP. So I'm going to allow the class and IP. The class IP, then the net mask is going to be any. Any means it will be this way, /0. You see, good to go. Set gateway. Gateway now, it will be 192.168.122.1. Then set device port 1. Then end. The moment we end, let me show you what it has been already created. You come to the network. Under interfaces, there is this static route. You see, it is created. So this is what I have done on the CLI. These commands here summarize what you are seeing here. So this one will help to define the path through which traffic will use to flow in a case whereby a destination is not specified. Now that my gateway is dynamic, there is no need to specify it because this port 1 is dynamically assigned. So you just choose dynamic, then just save. So once you do this, now at this point, let me enable my computers to get IP address automatic from the server. So for you to get DORA process, that is DHCP, that is discover, offer, request, then acknowledgement. You'll just type DHCP space hyphen then D. You see, it will go through all the process. You can see this is the request. Then it will discover, you see, it has received IP as this one, 11.80. You see, this IP matches with the subnet. So you should understand that. So that is the IP for this computer, but it is dynamically assigned. So you save. Then we can allow this one. We also save. By default, computers within the same VLAN or nodes or clients within the same department or the same VLAN communicate without any hindrance. But that particular computer to another department cannot communicate, not unless there is a layer 3 device intervention. So in this case, when I try to ping 192.168.11.80, you see it is pinging correctly, because these computers are hooked on the same department. So now let me enable this. This is warehouse computer. Success. It has received this 12.81. When I try to ping 192.168.11.80, this is the first computer in the sales department. It will not go through, it will fail. Reason being, inter-VLAN communication cannot happen not unless there is a layer 3. Now that in my case I do not have a layer 3, I'm using FortiGate Firewall to act as a layer 3 so that at least it can come in as a decision maker to decide how traffic flow. You will see after informing the firewall what to do, this traffic will go through. So you see, success. Same applies to this. This is a computer for the CEO. CEO is under administration. There is directors and CEO. Yeah, in these departments, you can see it has received from that particular subnet. So this is what you should understand. So at this point, the remaining part now is just configuring the policies to ensure that traffic flow from this VLAN to this VLAN to the internet, so that the policies are the ones that will decide how traffic flow. So I'm going to create policies so that sales to warehouse can communicate, warehouse to sales can communicate, warehouse to administration, vice versa. So to do that, he'll come to the policies and object here. Then first of all, I create the rules to allow every department to access the internet. So I will start with the sales department. This is sales to internet. incoming port, it will not be the LAN port. It will be the sub-virtual interface hooked on the LAN port. So it will be sales VLAN 10. You see, and you can see the address here. This is the address. So then outgoing, it will be one port, port 1. So traffic will be coming from this to the port 1. Then the source, I'm not going to choose all, but I'm going to choose the sales address, that specific subnet. Then destination is all. You see, when it comes to service, I'm going to allow every service. Then I'll do this. Then I'll allow generate logs when session starts. So that is the first rule. We can just copy the rule for the next VLAN, paste below. So the moment you paste the rule is disabled by default. So this is warehouse to internet. So the moment you do this, so incoming interface, it will be warehouse, then outgoing, it will remain this one. Then the source, it will be warehouse address. That is, you can see the way from that subnet. So then destination is everything. At this point, generate this, then we enable the policy. We do the same, we copy for administration, then we paste below. So this is admin to internet. I'm going to create a lot of rules here. So incoming is the administration, then outgoing is the LAN 1 port, then the source is administration, then destination is everything. This one means that this particular department will be in position to access any node on the internet, being a global network. So after there, I will enable the policy. So at this point, I can verify for you that, for example, this customer care here is able to access the internet. Let's ping the gateway. This is the gateway. You see, it's able to access the internet. So let me show you. If this computer is able to route traffic up to this particular port, that IP I have typed there is the IP, the gateway for this IP. So, and that gateway, this is the internet section. So, this one is able to reach the internet. Ping. You see? Or ping google.com. You see, it's pinging. It has resolved that particular domain name to a particular IP address. So this is due to the rules that I have created here. So let me show you the essence of what is happening. So you'll just come there, then check traffic, check the logs. You see the logs. Piece 2. This is, you see, it tried to ping the internet. You see, at this point, let me just generate these are the logs. So this also applies to your own network. When you are connected on a company's network, the things you are browsing online, the admin back end, the network admin is able to see your logs. You can see. So this computer now, I can ban it, I can quarantine it. You see, I can do anything on it. So that is it. So this one, I will stop this one because it is sending continuous traffic. I will stop it. At this point, I will clear the logs. Execute, log, delete, all. Yes, once I delete the logs, you will not see anything here. So that I prepare for the next. So once I'm done with these policies, the 3 policies have just helped those particular departments to access the internet, but I have not configured the policies to allow inter-VLAN communication. You can see that this bluish part, it means it shows the bytes or the data that has been routed to the internet. You see, this is the sales computer managed to send traffic to the internet. Same applies to warehouse. You see, the moment I try to ping any computer from the administration department to the internet, this will change, and this is how we can go about it. Let's pick this computer for the CEO, then ping Google. You see, the moment we do that, it is generating traffic. So if we can go to this and refresh, that 0 will change because traffic has moved. You see, 1.3 kilobytes of data has been pushed. If you just come on the logs and check on forward traffic, what has just happened some seconds ago, you'll get, you see, this is warehouse. Just a minute, 28 seconds. You see, this is 13.80. This means that this is a computer connected to this particular, you see, this computer here, even the IP is there. So it has generated what? Traffic. You see the source, then device, then destination is Google, DNS.Google. So the service or application used ping, then the session has been accepted, and it is using the rule for administration to the internet. So that's what you should get to understand. The next thing now, I'm going to create the rules to help communication among the 3 VLANs. So the first rule, I'm going to create sales department to communicate with the warehouse department, so that in this regard, incoming interface, it will be VLAN 10, then outgoing, it will be VLAN 20, then the source, it will be the source address for sales, then destination, it will be address for warehouse, then the services, I'm going to allow everything. Then at this point, I'm going to allow all sessions, then generate traffic or logs upon start, then we save. The moment I create that rule, this rule, you see, the moment it shows, it changes the colors, it means that it is synchronizing. So I can just copy the rule, then even paste above it, then change. So this one, it will be the traffic that will flow from the warehouse department to sales. So I'll just interchange here. So 20 now becomes the source, then 10 becomes the destination. So warehouse becomes the source, then destination becomes the sales. Everything remains the way it is except I enable the policy, because the moment you copy a rule, it is disabled by default. So you have to enable it or else it will not work. So at this point, the two rules have enabled these two departments to communicate. If at all, I can just verify. Let me ping this address 11.80 from the warehouse department 192.168.11.80. You see it is pinging. It's pinging. So it's okay. But remember, without that rule initially it did not work. So now you understand the importance of the firewall policies, the FortiGate firewall. So the next I have allowed communication to happen to and fro between these two departments. Now I'm going to allow the same to create communication to happen between VLAN 10 to 30, then VLAN 10 to 20. So there is no need of starting afresh when we have a template here. Just copy the rule, then paste below. Once you paste below, select the rule, edit. So this one, sales to admin. Then the incoming, the sales, then the destination is the administration department, then the source is the sales, then destination is the administration address, then everything remains the way it is, then we enable the rule. So this rule, it will help communication to happen between the sales department to the administration department. Then we copy the same. You see the way it is blinking yellow, amber, it is syncing. Yeah? So we copy the same for the outgoing traffic. We paste below. So then this one, admin to sales. Administration becomes the source, then destination becomes VLAN 10, that is sales. These are virtual interfaces you can see. So the source now, it is not all. The source, it is administration. If you understand firewall policies, you'll be a very good network engineer or administrator, especially in an environment where FortiGate is used. So at this point, administration is my source, so that is it, and then destination is that, good to go. So the only thing, everything remains, then we save. So now communication happens fully between sales department and warehouse department and also administration department. Now I'm going to effect warehouse department to the to administration. Remember this one, you see NAT is disabled. NAT, it should be enabled. So with this, I'm going to copy the rule, then paste below. So this one, it will be now warehouse to administration. The source is warehouse, then administration. Then you just choose the addresses are automatically created. Then destination is administration. Then with this, ensure NAT is enabled. Then all sessions generate traffic on start. Then you do that. The moment you do that, you copy the same rule, you paste. So these rules, if you are not keen, sometimes you may be confused and the entire lab will not work. So this is admin to warehouse. So the source becomes this one, destination becomes that one. The source is administration, then the source is admin, sorry. The source is admin, then destination is warehouse. So we choose the warehouse address here. This is the warehouse address. After there, all session enabled, NAT is enabled, then generate traffic on start, then we lock. So at this point, I have managed to create the rules. Though the rule seems to be so long, there is a way to mitigate that. So if you've got many departments, you can just ensure inter-VLAN routing happens within the switch. And between this switch and the firewall, now you can implement dynamic routing. Then everything still will work. But this one, I just want to let you know how to create the rules between the departments so that you can simulate communication. So at this particular computer, I'm trying to ping this IP here. Communication, I expect it should just happen without any hindrance. 192.168.11. Let me just add a space, just make it visible for you to get to understand. So 11.80, you see. So at this point, I'm generating traffic. So as I'm generating traffic that way, I want to go to show you the logs, what is happening. Let me refresh first. What is happening? You go to logs, then forward traffic. You see, the source 13.8, this is a computer within the administration department. This is the computer. It is sending traffic to this one, 11.8 in the sales department. Now see, have we not achieved? We've achieved. It is successful. It is using this particular rule. You can see the policy ID is number 7. The name is admin to sales. Then action is accept. First used at this particular date, timestamp, seconds ago, hit count. Then this is the amount of traffic that was sent. If you want to check in the rule list, you can just show list. Then the rule that is blinking, that is the rule that is in use, this one. So the next thing, so you see, I can execute and delete all logs. So once I delete all logs, then refresh. You see, because I'm doing continuous ping. You can see. Let me try to capture traffic using this interface. So Inter-VLAN routing is one of the aspects that you should not afford to miss, because this is how enterprise networks are built. You see all those departments you call offices. They are bundled in networks. From the network standpoint, they are VLANs. And there is a way they have been configured to allow communication to happen. So this is how they have done it. Let me show you the packets now. So this one can ping the internet successfully. This department can ping this successfully. This one can ping that successfully. So that this computer director and CEO can still communicate. Director can speak to customer care, can talk to sales manager, can also come to talk to warehouse assistant here. You see? So the network is the backbone of all business operations in enterprise entities. So you see, traffic is happening. So if at all I can just stop, then pick this. You come here to analyze the traffic. Where is the traffic coming from? Where it is going? Then you see the source, SRC. This is the source. Then destination is DST. That is destination. You see, version 4. It means I'm using IP version 4. So thank you so much for following this particular lab. Please feel free to subscribe to Netlabs Hub on YouTube for more videos and labs like this one. Thank you.